1.
Everybody, my name is Georgia and I am an Education Officer at ChildNet. Today I am joined by my colleague Linz, who is a Senior Education Projects Officer at ChildNet. It is so great to be here today to host this webinar on Early Years Foundation Stage and share a range of fun, free and easy to use resources for children at this age. This webinar is the 5th in a series that we are hosting for educators. So a little bit about me before we start. I was a primary school teacher and I taught in the Early Years Foundation Stage. I'm a big advocate for making learning fun and engaging while also building on children's interests. I love storytelling and using stories to inspire child-initiated play. Therefore, these resources that we're going to share really excite me, as I believe that they are amazing hooks for learning and will give opportunities for the children in your setting to build on in their own way. Linz was also a primary teacher before joining ChildNet and has been involved in establishing all of our early years resources to date, including creating Smarty the Penguin, DigiDuck and the Learning to Read book. So let's start off with a brief introduction to ChildNet. We are an online safety charity whose main aim is to make the internet a great and safe place for all children and young people. We do this in a number of ways. The education team travel to schools all around the country, working directly with children aged 3 to 18 years old, parents, carers, and professionals like yourselves. We also develop a range of free educational resources that are available on our website to support you in delivering online safety messages in your setting. ChildNet also works with the government and also the internet industry to encourage and advise them in how they can work to keep young people safe online as well. We also form part of the UK Safer Internet Centre alongside 2 other organisations, the Internet Watch Foundation and SWGFL. Every Safer Internet Centre across Europe needs to have an awareness raising branch, a helpline service and a hotline or means to report child sexual abuse imagery. In the UK, ChildNet provides the awareness raising service and shares some of this responsibility with SWGFL. The Internet Watch Foundation operates a vital hotline service as part of their work, specifically removing child sexual abuse imagery from the internet, and SWGFL hosts a number of really fantastic helplines. Through this partnership, we coordinate Safe Internet Day, and we offer a whole host of resources, services and events, just like this webinar. But I think that's probably enough of an introduction now, so we will get started. Although I will just take this moment to let you know that the Q&A feature is open and will be online for 15 minutes at the end of today's webinar to answer any additional questions you may have. So please submit your questions on there if you do have any. So I will begin by quickly talking you through an overview of today's session. We'll start by looking at why online safety is so important in EYFS. We'll then move on to exploring the different resources that we have available to you, which are all free to use and available on the ChildNet website. We'll then also point out where you can find some other really fantastic resources for this age range from the UK Safer Internet Centre. And then we'll finish off by showing you how you can embed online safety throughout your curriculum. So, why is incorporating online safety messaging and simply talking about life online important within the early years? So although computing is unfortunately no longer part of the curriculum for early years, we do know that children of this age are engaging with and using all sorts of technology on a daily basis, and the internet brings with it a world of possibilities. Whether it's phones and tablets, smart speakers and TVs, video calls with family in other locations, or even connected doorbells, children are becoming more and more exposed to technology from an incredibly early age and are likely to be surrounded by it in some shape or form. At ChildNet, we do know it can be a really fun and inspiring place for lots of children and young people that makes them feel confident, happy and relaxed. When we run sessions in schools, we often hear that children this age really enjoy going online to play games like Mario Kart, watch videos on YouTube Kids and Disney+. They also like to use their devices to unleash their creativity by using their tablets and iPads to draw and colour pictures. But we do also know that there are risks, which can have the potential to harm children and young people and leave them feeling maybe upset, alone and worried. Although the internet is advancing and changing at a rapid rate, the risks involved do still stay relatively the same. Therefore, it does make sense to start talking about what technology is, how it can be used, and how to ask for help if something were to go wrong, from the moment they do start to show an interest in it. And these conversations do not have to be scary. They can be done in a fun, engaging, and age-appropriate way. Using technology in the classroom can be a really beneficial and effective tool to engage children and enrich their experiences. When I was a teacher, I remember using Google Maps when teaching a unit about all the different countries around the world. My class absolutely loved seeing the different places and was so fascinated by how massive the Earth is. Further ideas you could use could be playing games on the interactive whiteboard, playing and listening to music online, which could also incorporate dance and gross motor skills, watching videos, coding through Bbots, and you can even throw in a past and present link and explore technology from the past. To allow children to gain independence during these activities, it is really important to set up filtering and monitoring controls on your devices. Filtering blocks and allows content, while monitoring allows you to see what children are viewing online. Now, these controls do primarily sit in the hands of your safeguarding leads. However, it is really important that this information is also shared across your educational setting. So if we want to implement this into the children's learning, it is important that they are taught how to engage with technology and the internet in this way safely, especially as they're most likely using their own devices at home as well. In the EYFS, play-based learning is at the heart of day-to-day teaching. As we talk you through the range of resources, we will also be providing you with tips and ideas of how you can adapt them to suit your setting and incorporate that play-based learning. To find all of the free ChildNet resources we'll be talking through today, simply go onto the ChildNet website, which you can see on the screen here. You simply click on Teachers and Professionals, Resources, and then select the age bracket you require from the list provided. You'll then see the range of resources available. And we're now going to talk you through those in some more detail. I'm going to hand over to Linz now to talk you through the first one.
Thank you, Georgia. So the first resource we're going to talk about today is Smarty the Penguin. Our Smarty the Penguin stories can be used to teach children about different online safety risks. Smarty has been around for a little while, so you may have come across these stories before. However, we are currently in the process of updating and redesigning these. There are 6 stories available, 2 for EYFS, 2 for Year 1 and 2 for Year 2. You can even see a sneak preview of the new designs here on the screen. Across the 2 stories, Smarty encounters a variety of different risks while playing on his tablet and is unsure of what to do. These include seeing something upsetting, unreliable information, pop-ups, being asked for personal information, and online bullying. In each scenario, the children are asked to help Smarty to make the right choice, and these moments are marked with a time to chat icon, where you can ask your learners to share their thoughts and also explain their reasons. This helps make the sessions more interactive, but also allows you to observe the children, as this will link to their personal, social, and emotional development early learning goals. The main message of the stories each time is to encourage children to tell a trusted adult about any problems that they encounter online, no matter what the issue. It also, if Smarty has a mum and a dad, there are still other adults who can help you. So a discussion where children talk about who their trusted adult is really important, just to make sure that they are seeking help from somebody over the age of 18. We often find that children talk about an older sibling or a cousin being their trusted adult. And if this happens, then it's important to address it, just to ensure that they understand what an adult is. Now, throughout the stories, Smarty sings a catchy song to help him remember what to do if something makes him feel worried, upset, or confused online. And this is a song that the children learn too, with some actions to make it more interactive. The song features in every story, and so that way you can use stories A or B in any order, depending on which theme you would like to explore. Now, the good news is you don't need to be an X Factor finalist to deliver the song. You can put your own spin on it, but this is what we do when we deliver it in schools. And before you tap or click, you need to stop and think and tell someone. So as you can see, it's nice and easy. Before you tap or click, you need to stop and think. Someone. So hopefully it's nice and memorable for you. We always find that by the end of the school sessions, the majority of the children are able to remember it and to sing it, and they have a lot of fun doing the actions too. Of course, we want the main message to be really, really clear, so you can encourage them to say, tell someone in their loudest voices, and the song is repeated throughout the presentation to really embed that message. So as promised, here are some ideas of how you can incorporate Smarty into the wider EYFS curriculum. So the stories could be used for a communication and language activity, where the children could order pictures from the story or recount it using puppets or role play, for example. If you have a home corner, you could incorporate some of the scenarios discussed to make it into a more relatable setting. Once the children have developed their writing skills, they could write a simple sentence using the song that they've learnt. For example, tap, click, stop, think and tell are obviously all phonetic, so would allow the children to write about what they've learnt. They could make posters for the classroom to incorporate their fine motor skills as well. To enhance gross motor skills and expressive arts and design, you could create dance routines using the song. You could build on the actions they've been taught, or they could even present the song or present the story as a show to their peers. If the child enjoys singing, they could accompany the dance with their own singing skills and recite the song either to the tune that you provided, or they could be totally creative and make up their own tunes as well, maybe even incorporating musical instruments to make it even more amazing. So as you can see, the messages can be built on in a number of ways to suit the interest of the children that you teach. And that way they are much more likely to remember the content, as well as being able to share it with their friends and family as well. So I'm now going to take you through the DigiDuck collection and the accompanying resources that we have for these to help support the use of these stories in the classroom and at home too. So as you can see on the screen, there are 5 DigiDuck stories in total. These were written primarily for children aged 3 to 7, but can of course be enjoyed by children of any age. The stories were really created to sow the seeds of online safety themes, even if the children that were listening were not using technology themselves at that time. And the overriding principle when writing each story was that they would always be age appropriate and never frightening. So the 5 stories aim to cover the most common risks that early internet users might come across, or the mistakes that they're most likely to make. So DigiDuck's big decision is all about being a good friend online, thinking about the feelings of others, especially when it comes to sharing things like photos. DigiDuck's famous friend explores the fact that people online may not be who they say they are, and that friends made online are still strangers. And it covers the importance of letting an adult know if anyone online sends you a friend request, asks for your personal information, or to meet up. Detective DigiDuck in the middle there tackles the theme of information online and how what you read might not always be reliable. It also demonstrates the different ways that you can fact check the things that you found out online. DigiDuck and the Magic Castle is all about in-app purchases within online games and how easy it can be to spend money by accident if the right settings are not in place. It also covers the importance of not sharing your passwords with your friends and teaches what a strong password is. And then DigiDuck Saves the Day is the 5th and final story, and demonstrates how the internet can be used to help and get things done really quickly. And it shows DigiDuck and his friends putting together all of the skills that they've learned to date from the previous stories. All 5 books are available as ebooks, as downloadable PDFs, and the first book was printed in paperback too. At the end of each story, you'll also find just a short set of questions that you can use to assess the children's understanding of what they've read, and also help them relate this to their own experience as well. And the stories have been translated into a range of different languages, as you can see on the screen there, which really adds to the depth of the offering as well. So we've got lots of different versions to choose from. DigiDuck is really easy to implement into the classroom and will fit into a range of subject areas, as you can see on the screen, including communication and language, literacy, PSED, understanding the world, specifically past and present, expressive arts and design, and fine motor skills, just to name a few. And then also to help you, on the main DigiDuck resource page, we have an About DigiDuck section. There's a really detailed accompanying PDF document that explains all the different ways that the stories can be incorporated into the wider curriculum. So this document was created after the third book was published, but the activities can be applied to all 5 stories very easily. So it's divided into quick writing, quick discussion, and quick creative activities. And there are longer activities and worksheets as well, because the target audience is obviously EYFS up to year 2. So there's definitely something for everyone within there. Lots of the activities do link really well to the EYFS curriculum. For example, there's an activity called Rules at Home and at School, and this has a really good PSED link, and could be a nice circle time activity to discuss the importance of rules and the rules that the children should follow to keep themselves safe online. There are sequencing and recount activities for the 3 books, obviously linking to communication, language, and literacy. Another alternative could be using the pictures without revealing the text to see if the learners can guess what's happening on each page, because the pictures are beautifully illustrated. There's also an activity where the children can draw their own life online, and you can ask questions such as what games do they play, what TV do they watch online, do they chat to anyone. This could also be made into an understanding the world activity, for example, linking to past and present, talking about the things that they used to like playing on, consider how that might have changed over time. And actually in the Safer Internet Day resources this year, there was a lovely activity called Tech Through Time, which would complement this really well as well. In the quick creative activities section of the document, lots of the activities listed would be amazing to use in your child initiated time, because so many of them link to development matters. So you've got expressive art and design through drawing DigiDuck and his family, or creating a rap or a song. There are communication and language activities through retelling the story with masks and puppets, or you could use Lego and plasticine to enhance fine motor skills. And I'm going to pass you over to Georgia now to talk us through the next resource.
Thank you, Linz. So the next resource is slightly different in the sense that it encourages children to also use their own phonetic knowledge and develop their independence in reading. So our Learning to Read book is for early readers to share with an adult and have a go at reading by themselves. On the website, you will see that it is largely aimed at parents and carers, but it can also be easily implemented into a school day too. Alternatively, parents could be signposted to the webpage as a home learning activity, while also printing a story for the children who do not have access to a computer at home. There is a mixture of graphemes, common exception words, digraphs and trigraphs, so children can participate whatever their phonetic knowledge. It may be useful to pre-teach the common exception words before they start reading, so that they are aware that these words cannot be read phonetically. The story also features a diverse range of characters, such as a range of cultures and ethnicities, same-sex parents, as well as children with additional needs. The book also features a range of puzzles and activities at the end to support the learning. The importance of reading is highlighted in the curriculum and Ofsted documentation, with Ofsted often carrying out a reading deep dive in their inspections. They say this is because reading is so integral to learning and allows the children to develop their knowledge independently. This resource means that you can teach online safety and reading at the same time. It can also be used in a guided reading type of activity, where you can discuss the book in more detail. One thing you could do is a treasure hunt activity, where the children have to find a specific word in the book, and this way it can be differentiated to wherever the children are in their reading journey. Of course, if adult help is needed, then that is absolutely fine. We want this activity to be enjoyable and accessible for everybody. ChildNet takes a very balanced approach to online safety. So the book itself outlines all of the wonderful things that you can get up to on a device. For example, interacting with friends and playing games. Towards the end, there is also advice guiding the child through what to do if they do encounter any issues. The overall message of the book is to talk to an adult if you trust, if anything makes you feel upset or worried. Now, of course, the main aim of the Learning to Read book is to do exactly what it says, to learn to read. So this resource will heavily link to your literacy area of the curriculum and will apply phonetic knowledge into independent learning. We've mentioned the puzzles and activities that you'll find at the end, and these can be completed with the children. These activities encourage further reading and apply the words that they have learnt while reading the book. There are even activities where the children need to locate the rhyming words in a set of words from the book. At the end, there are questions to discuss with the children as well, which checks their comprehension, but also starts that important discussion around online safety. A child's initiated activity, the children could reflect on their personal favourite things to do online and draw or write about them. These could be their own ideas, or you could put images from the book on the table to kind of spark their imaginations. They could then compare these with a friend and see what their similarities and differences are. And then this would also be a really nice personal, social and emotional development link, as it shows acceptance of differences and the building of friendships. Going to move on to our next resource now, and this is called Hanny and the Magic Window. Now, this story is a little bit different to the others, as it actually doesn't feature any technology at all. It was also used as part of the 2023 Safer Internet Day resources. This story is also available in a simplified version, which may work for children with special educational needs, or could even be used as a resource to sequence the original story after reading it. Hanny and the Magic Window is a rhyming story with illustrations, again making it an amazing book for story time. Instead of a device, the online world is represented through a magical window that allows Hanny to see some amazing things, like space and the ocean. However, one day, Hanny is upset by something she sees in the window and is a bit unsure of what to do. Hanny struggles to talk to somebody about what happened and cannot bring herself to do so. She finds herself able to talk to Mrs. Rodwell, her teaching assistant. Mrs. Rodwell gives Hanny time to share her worries and then supports her when telling her teacher, Mr. Green. Mr. Green then encourages Hanny to talk to her mum. This story highlights the importance of telling a trusted adult, while also acknowledging that it might not always be easy. Hanny's teacher also gives her reassurance that she will not get in trouble for sharing her concerns. It also displays how wonderful and magical the online world can be and can give you the ability to explore lots of different places, which again shows ChildNet's balanced approach. With Hanny and the Magic Window being such a creative, colourful book, it is a perfect opportunity to weave it into expressive arts and design and fine motor skills. The children could work around the idea of a magic window and consider what would appear in their own. Their interests could be different to Hanny's, and this would be a great way to make the story relatable to their own lives. You can make this really creative by using different art resources, such as paint or collage materials. This piece of work could also have a link to understanding the world, especially if the children have already got some prior knowledge about countries in the world. Their magic window could be a place that they'd love to see, and they could consider what that may look like. For example, what would you see in the Arctic or the desert? The children could also act out the story in the role play area if you do have one in your setting. They could use different resources to show the different windows Hanny visits, like the ocean, space and a racing track. It could be as simple as using tissue paper to represent the sea or tinfoil to represent stars. The magic window is such a wonderful hook for learning and could definitely be built on in lots of different ways. I'm going to pass back over to Linz now to talk to you about Safer Internet Day.
Thank you, Georgia. So each year, Safer Internet Day is celebrated globally in February. And as ChildNet forms part of the UK Safer Internet Centre, we play a big part in organising Safer Internet Day, and we create the downloadable educational resources. So on the Safer Internet Centre website, which is saferinternet.org.uk, as you can see on the screen there at the bottom, you can find all of the previous Safer Internet Day themes and the education packs that we've created as well. For example, this year's theme was Navigating Change Online. So every year for Safer Internet Day, we create a resource pack for 3 to 7-year-olds, 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s and 14 to 18s. And the 3 to 7 pack always contains activities that are suitable for early years children. And you can see some of the examples here on the screen. So there's always games, stories, quizzes, and a whole host of accessible activities based on whatever that year's theme is. So that was a quick one from me, and I'm going to pass back over to Georgia again.
Thank you, Linz. So next resource we're going to look at is Education for a Connected World, which was produced by the UK Council for Internet Safety. Education for a Connected World provides learning objective style statements specifying what particular age groups should know about online safety. It's also broken down into separate topics such as online relationships, online bullying, and health and relationships, to just name a few. There are also supporting resources for these statements over on Project Evolve, which were produced by SWGFL. These resources mean your chosen learning objective can be transformed into a lesson very quickly and easily. The final resource we want to highlight is a general guide for teachers and staff working in education on how to embed online safety into the curriculum. The primary document starts with 10 tips for teaching online safety, for example, opening up discussions and making it fun and creative. The second part of the document outlines the different ways online safety can be interwoven into a wider curriculum. I picked out a few activities which I think link really nicely to the EYFS curriculum. However, I do encourage you to take a look yourselves and after this webinar and see what you think. For science, I remember showing my class lots of videos during my time teaching. For example, beekeeping, circus performers and explorers. After watching these videos, you could also discuss the importance of watching and finding reliable videos and that we shouldn't copy the people we see online as they are trained professionals. In science, we do, of course, emphasise the importance of taking safety precautions when conducting an experiment. We analyse the risks and take actions to lower the chances of a risk creating a harm. This mentality can also be carried over to online safety, as we too analyse the risks to prevent a harm. For geography, as I previously mentioned, Google Maps is an amazing way to show children different places in the world and how far away they are from us. This could then open a discussion around sharing location and how important it is to keep that to ourselves. This could also link to Smarty the Penguin, as he does also face a situation where somebody asks for his address. If in PSHE, friendships are a big discussion in PSHE, so it'd be a great time to incorporate online friendships as well. Even at a young age, children are still talking to friends online, so we do need to acknowledge this and guide them through doing this safely. It could be reminders of being kind and respectful to others, as well as knowing what to do if somebody is unkind to you online. That's all of the resources for now that we wanted to show you today. So I will just hand back over to Linz now for the last few slides.
Thank you. So as Georgia said, we've talked through all of the earlier resources that we have, and you can see on the screen here a recap of what we've covered just on the left. And I'm also going to share 4 top tips with you as a summary. So the first is start early. So your learners are surrounded by technology every day, and by talking about it in your setting, you can share in their excitement of the amazing opportunities that technology provides, and demonstrate that you know what they enjoy doing online, and shape those vital conversations about online safety in an age-appropriate way. Secondly, we have introduce online safety themes with a story. I mean, you all know that stories are such a brilliant hook for introducing any concept and facilitate so many different follow-up activities as well to support the learning that's taken place. Now, you know your classes better than anybody else, and you'll be able to pick and choose the different activities that are best suited to their interests and their needs. The third tip is to weave technology and also talking about technology into other areas of learning where possible, and obviously where it best fits. Hopefully we've given you lots of ideas of how you could do that in a relatively simple way without it feeling like too much of a challenge. Finally, we have the wonderful annual celebration that is Safer Internet Day. All the resources that we produce are individually tailored for each year group, including the early years. We always use the hashtag Safer Internet Day, all one word. So even if you did a quick search on X or any other social media platform, you'll see hundreds of photos that schools have shared over the years, showcasing the fun they've had using the resources that we've produced. And in the resource packs, there are always detailed instructions of how to run each activity. All the supporting resources you need are listed, and there's an assembly too, complete with a script for how to deliver it. So it's like having a gift-wrapped day or even week of work already done for you that you can just download and run with. So we've reached the end of the presentation now. We do have time for questions, so we will just take a quick look in the Q&A. to see what has come in. Whilst I'm doing that, Georgia is going to share a link to a very short evaluation survey. It won't take more than 30 seconds, we promise. If you could kindly fill it in now to help inform our future work, we would be really, really grateful. Right, let's see if we've had questions. I can see 6 are published. Oh, okay, so Amy very helpfully has shared the resources on the ChildNet website. Filter those by ages 3 to 7 and resource type. We've got the website link for saferinternet.org.uk, so the UK Safer Internet Centre website, and then you could navigate using the Safer Internet Day tab at the top. We've got Education for a Connected World that Georgia mentioned and Project Evolve. Hanny and the Magic Window, Amy has very kindly shared a link for that. Georgia has shared our evaluation form, which hopefully you're all madly filling out now, super quick. And if you do have any other questions, then please do pop them in the Q&A. Also on the screen here, we have the web address just for our main ChildNet education account, so education@childnet.com. If you had questions about the school visits that we provide, for example, or anything else to do with today that maybe you didn't want to type in the Q&A, then you are always very welcome to use that email address. We will perhaps give it a couple more minutes. While we do, I will say a great big thank you to everyone who attended today. I hope it's really been really useful, and I hope you enjoy using our resources. I see a new question from Sally. Thank you, Sally, for attending. I will, if it's the Sally I'm thinking of, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, well, nothing else has come in. Again, please do use the education email address. If anything pops to mind at a later date, we will finish the recording now. And we will make the recording available on YouTube so you can rewatch it. We'll be doing that as soon as possible. So it will be there so you can see all of the resources as well. And we will say farewell. Thank you very much.